思い切りやろうじゃないか。貴様の最後の戦いになるかもしれんのだぞ。
古竜様が見守る中、痛みで君の罪を洗い流そう。
Hello people and welcome back to News Review. This week there are 2 new jackpots in the era of Novelty seal and also 1 free-to-play card, although this will be a little longer because these cards appear to be actually good and worth spending a little bit of time on. So let's get right into it. First off is the jackpot, a light Machina Ali. His team will consist of basically mainly Machinas, but you can borrow human members because it gives more stats to Machinas. By starting with some movement on the left hand side, you get team attack times 2, and if all Machinas in the team have full fuel, you get team attack times 2.5 additionally, and at the end of the round, your fuel will increase by 20% if it's not full already. By starting Runestone movement on the right hand side, you get Enchanted Trail, and you also ignore Puzzle Shield, and by dissolving Machina Runestones, team attack times 3 additionally, this fourth point synergizes with his team skill. This is very simple. This is just, in the leader skill, you just get stats and you ignore Puzzle Shield, and you have Enchanted Trail. Pretty simple, but pretty good, because Enchanted Trail can be used to solve a variety of stuff. Ignoring Puzzle Shield is of course also always good. For the team skill, you get extra movement time of 3 seconds, regardlessly, Machina's HP basic value times 2, and humans' HP basic value times 1.5. You basically ignore burning, no ignoring of Sticky, which is, kind of sad, but he is worth 100 diamonds after all, not 175 or 200, so kind of par for the course. Everything is everything times 2, quite good. Means that your recovery likely won't suffer, and your team comp is flexible in terms of what attributes of Machinas you bring in. And humans, kind of, but as I said, I don't really recommend you bring humans because they get, way less stats. When a character runestone is triggered, modify the first 8 runestones touch while moving to become Machina runestones, so this is the synergy I was talking about. When his own character runestone is triggered, you get Time Tunnel. Now this, people have said, I think this is how it works because this is how it works with past cards. I don't know if they change anything, but you can actually activate this Time Tunnel effect, then then start your movement on the left hand side and on the right hand side, and you'll get both of those effects. So if we go back to the leader skill right there, you'll get the extra attack boost and the fuel increase and the Enchanted Runestone Trail and the ignoring of the Puzzle Shield. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. If that is how it works, when it comes out, this card will be quite good on paper anyway. By dissolving his own character runestone, you get a CD reduction of 1, and when the current HP is full, you get damage reduction of 40%, and if it's not full after runestone movement, his own attack times 3 as well. As a member, when he is in a Machina team and his own character runestone is triggered, then he enters a hyper state for 2 rounds, further multiplying his own attack. So basically, this is kind of like a leader ally, sort of a concentrated attack kind of team comp. He has a choose 1 out of 2 effect for his active, CD7. The first one is fully recover HP, turn the first column into Enchanted Light Machina runestones, and the second column into Enchanted Heart Machina runestones. 4 round, extend Rune's movement time to 15 seconds, clear the negative state of Electrified, Frozen, Weakened, Lock for Recovery, and Petrified runestones touch while moving. This basically, let me just go over here. There are a load of Machinas that deal with negative runestones, so many that I've not really bothered to annotate any of them, but at a glance, you can tell he is actually the only light Machina that can deal with this. This guy doesn't count because he just explodes runestones randomly. And actually, another interesting thing that I also realized is that there are actually no dark Machinas on this list, which is kind of weird, to be honest. For his second active, or rather the second effect, he deducts 5% of your current HP, which basically, synergizes with the previous point of getting an extra attack boost when your HP isn't full. He turns the 5th and 6th columns into the same thing, heart and light as before. And for 1 round, the character's attack times 8, and his own damage ignores initial shield, trio elemental, quartet elemental, and quintet elemental shield. There used to be fewer machinas that ignore initial shield, but even discounting the collab cards, there have been 2 new ones that kind of like make it so that this is not that important. The new Metazord that is in the Evoking shop, and the new Guild event card as well. Pompeii has just been there for a long time. So this point is actually not that bad, and there are, many cards that can ignore trio, quartet, and quintet elemental shield at this point. He also has a ton of bond skills with all the other characters, from basically the previous jackpots, jackpot rotations for the new Era of Novelty seal. None of them are that important. It's just like combo count +1 might be, might matter someday, but nothing like really truly special in that regard. So, do I think he's worth 100 diamonds? Actually, on paper, yes. In theory, yes. But once again, like, when the card comes out, everyone can see how much HP he actually has, how much damage he actually has. But this card does seem to be quite good, because his, like, inbuilt team comp allows you to have Time Tunnel, and then by, just moving on the left and right, like, once, you get all the effects, and Enchanted Trail especially is really good. Just, if you play with any team that has Enchanted Trail, like, inbuilt, it's just good. The only maybe thing I can see is he relies heavily on the triggering of the character runestone, and there have been shields now that like stop you from doing that. Well, the first one, the oldest one, is just your normal like portals, right? Red and green starting portals that aren't on the character runestone. You're forced to start there, and if you don't have, well, even if you do have a time tunnel yourself, once you start like from the green portal, you can't start with your character runestone again. But so you lose out on some of that bonus. But then there's the new, like, I don't even remember what the name of this is, but basically the enemy puts a debuff on like your characters, and you can't activate either the active, and you can't activate the character instant for that character. So that's one of the ways that he could possibly be like the disadvantage could like come to the surface in that case. But generally, I think this is actually quite good compared to like, some of the other cards that have come out recently in the seal. So yeah. Moving on to the sub-jackpot, Macbeth. He is a water god. As a leader, it's pretty much like nothing to write home about. Like, just, you can read it, you can pause and read it. I won't read it because it's just not good. For his active, however, CD7, for 1 round, the enemies attack themselves or each other once. When he attacks Venom the enemy, he is the only god right now that can Venom the enemy. For 2 rounds, the character is attacked ×3 and ignores fixed combo shield. And then by dissolving attribute runestones, the character launches an extra attack of each attribute dissolve. So he can solve a variety of shields, including, so let's just start with fixed combo shield. He is the first ever water god to ignore fixed combo shield. However, his position is a little weird because the Battle Pass card of Hell just came out, and this is a stat booster that allows all gods to ignore fixed combo shield, just like, as a stat. So this card is kind of awkward when it comes to the god position. In terms of the water position, he is the second ever non-collab water card to ignore fixed combo shield, so take of that what you will. As for quintet attacks, there are surprisingly a lot of water cards that can actually do quintet attacks. Andromeda, who recently got a PR, of course. Mikasa, obviously from the recent Attack on Titan collab. And, your classic, like, Shinji, Ultraman, whatever. Fortress deserves a special mention because he actually operates different to, well, nearly all the other cards here. That you don't actually need to dissolve the attribute of Runestone for him to do a quintet attack. But, is he? I didn't actually take a look at this. No, he's not. Well, Shinji comes before him and Ultraman before that. But he is the only non-collab water god card that can do a quintet attack. Very specific. Once again, take of that what you will. This card, I don't think it's that good. But, very, like, he's technically the first in many niche instances that probably won't matter in the long run. Alright, moving on to the Nightmare stage. This will be a Nightmare stage card. This card actually came out like as a preview for some people who went to like TGS. This is an Earth Machina, Glaux Jr., whatever. As a leader, it's a bit of a meme leader. I'm just gonna skip past this once again. Pause and read it if you want. His active, there's really only one active that matters here. Once again, it's choose 1 out of 2 effect. For his first effect, CDs of all enemies will be delayed for 1 round. Restore the board and explode the board to generate a fixed board consisting of Earth and Heart, and your heart will become protected runestones. This is honestly the only effect you really should be using, unless you're using him as a leader, which, why would you do that? I was very surprised. There are only 2 Machinas that restore the board. That's kind of nuts. The other one's Lilith, and Lilith is a black gold card, so grab this card if you can. Very unique in that regard, and restoring the board is quite valuable nowadays. For a second effect, why it's trash is because it doesn't really do anything. If the leader is Silovic or himself, restore all cracked positions. You're not using himself as a leader, and I don't know if many people have Silovic since he came out in like the human leader flood. So if you have Silovic, I guess you may use this, but for the majority of people, no. And then this is just a worse version of the first effect for the fixed board, because it's conversion, not explosion. 4 round humans and Machinas, attack times 2.2. Kind of redundant, because attack is not really something that you should be worrying about in today's day and age. Lastly, you have the new trivia quiz event. Basically allows you to get more items. Alright, moving on to the celebration events. There are only a couple points here. One is the return of Kingu, the returning ultimate stage card. This guy is an earth god. He converts the whole board and then fixes your board for you. Every type runes that will be connected will be arranged nicely, the same way that Lilith's Dragonware power, Draconic power, sorry, that does. I haven't used him that much myself, but he is sometimes useful, so I put him right there. For the Diamond Seal, the one important thing is that the previous 2 Jackpots will be removed and replaced. And then there's also new story that they didn't really talk about, but that's that. Basically more diamonds. And then I think that is it. Yep, nothing special here. That is it for this week's news review. If you liked it, please leave a like. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. And if you enjoy this in general, please subscribe. It gives me motivation to do more of these. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya!